Another useful prompt engineering technique is classification, and you do this via classification prompts. These are questions or statements that ask for categorization or labeling of items, concepts, pieces of information based on certain criteria or attributes. Now, what you're seeking to do with these prompts is to sort or arrange data into specific groups or categories to make it easier for you to understand, analyze, or apply that data. Classification can be very simple, like differentiating between fruits and vegetables, or you can even categorize diseases based on symptoms and causes. And these prompts are often used in scientific research, data analysis, and even decision making. One of the simplest and most common uses of prompt engineering for classification is for sentiment analysis, where you want to gauge the tone or sentiment of a bit of text. I'm asking ChatGPT to classify this review. This is just a review of the Top Gun Maverick movie that I copied off of some site. I'm now going to introduce a prompting technique that I've used here. We'll study that prompting technique in more detail a little bit later on in this learning path, and that is zero shot prompting. In fact, we've applied this prompting technique all along for most of the prompts that we've used here in this learning path. Zero shot prompting refers to the ability of the LLM that we're using to perform a task without having been specifically trained on that task. So the model that we're using hasn't been trained on classification, but you'll find that it can still classify this review without any specific training for this particular task. You can see that ChatGPT has captured the nuance as well. The review can be classified as generally positive, and it gives some additional explanation. Zero shot prompting and classification. These are the two prompting techniques that we've discussed here. Once again, I use zero shot prompting and classification to classify this review, and this happens to be a rather negative review. This is zero shot prompting because it's not like the GPT 3.5 LLM is specifically trained for classification or sentiment analysis, and it's a classification prompt. Let's see what the result is, and you can see that this review can be classified as negative or critical. Let's look at another example of a classification prompt, again with zero shot prompting. Classify this review. Movie was okay, the actors were decent, and you can see that ChatGPT thinks that this review is lukewarm or neutral. Notice that ChatGPT found the three broad categories of sentiment analysis: positive, negative, and neutral, without us having to actually define these categories or using a model that has been trained using these categories. This is zero shot prompting, and classification. Well, you've understood that. Let's look at a variation of this sentiment analysis classification prompt. Here, I specify the classes or categories into which I want the review to be